Three of NASCAR's biggest active champions said publicly and on record that they wanted to take on Australia's hardest race series. All three men signed the deals. Two of them backed out before they turned a single competitive lap. The third one went through with it. And the result told a story that has split motorsport fans down the middle. Kyle Busch signed first, all the way back in 2024. A fully binding deal had been done with 888 Race Engineering, the most successful team in Supercars history, and a global announcement was scheduled. 3 days before it went live, Busch pulled out. No real explanation was ever given, just a generic official line about an off-track commitment back home in the United States. 12 months later, Kyle Larson, widely considered the best all-round racing driver active today, signed his own deal. He was going to make his Supercars debut as a wildcard at the Adelaide Grand Final, alongside a companion sprint car appearance at the same event. The deal was officially confirmed. Event organizers had begun selling tickets on the back of the announcement, and promotional material was already in production. Then in June 2025 he too quietly withdrew, with no further comment. The withdrawal came 72 hours after Larson crashed out of both the Indianapolis 500 and Coca-Cola 600 on the same day. Then there was Austin Cindric, Daytona 500 winner, Team Penske driver, 2020 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. He signed his deal with Tickford Racing, completed all 3 scheduled test days, turned up to the event, and actually raced. To understand exactly what all 3 men agreed to, and why 2 of them ran away, you first have to understand what they were being asked to drive. This is not the same as turning up to a NASCAR road course. The Gen 3 supercar weighs 2,940 pounds, makes approximately 600 horsepower, and has absolutely zero electronic driver aids. No traction control. No anti-lock brakes. It runs a spool differential, a completely locked rear axle that will try and spin you around every single corner. Drivers have to heel and toe every downshift perfectly. Get it even 1% wrong and the rear tires lock instantly. In NASCAR, if you spin, you almost always hit grass or gravel. In a supercar, if you spin, you almost always hit concrete. Usually before you even have time to lock the brakes. And this wasn't even Mount Panorama Bathurst. This was Adelaide. The easy one. The street circuit that is universally considered the softest possible introduction to supercars that exists. Number 174-meter elevation change. No blind crests. No concrete wall you can reach out and touch at 300 km/h. Adelaide is the training wheels version. Cindric did not turn up unprepared. This is the part almost nobody mentions in mainstream coverage. Scott McLaughlin, 3-time Supercars champion and now Cindric's Team Penske stablemate, texted him every single day in the build-up. Shane van Gisbergen personally offered to review his data after every single practice and qualifying session. Cam Waters, the fastest active driver at Adelaide, followed him around for an entire test session and said publicly he was actually doing really well for a rookie. Across the full 4-race weekend, in a 25-car field made up entirely of full-time professional supercars drivers, Austin Cindric's best finish was 21st. In the final championship race he crossed the line 23rd. He was a consistent 1.1 seconds per lap off the pace of his own teammate Cam Waters across all sessions. Afterwards he was completely honest with reporters. He admitted he braked 10 meters too deep into turn 8 and very nearly destroyed the car. He said the biggest thing he was still struggling with at the end of the weekend was remembering he was sitting on the right-hand side of the car. When asked to sum up his weekend, he said, "I would say I'm mildly satisfied, but I want to keep improving." This is not a dig at Austin Cindric. He is an extremely good racing driver. He won the Daytona 500 as a rookie. He has won 3 Cup Series races. He qualified for the NASCAR playoffs in 2022, 2024, and 2025. He did exactly what he said he would do. He turned up, he tried his absolute best, and he was honest about how hard it was. That deserves enormous respect. But the result also tells us something undeniable. The gap is real. And it becomes even more undeniable when you look at the trip in the other direction. Shane van Gisbergen, 3-time Supercars champion, turned up to NASCAR for the first time in 2023. He won his very first Cup Series start at the Chicago Street Course. In 2025 he completed a full Rookie Cup Series season, won 5 races, more than any other rookie in NASCAR history. He is now the most successful non-American driver to ever race in the Cup Series. Nobody is arguing that SVG is not an exceptional talent. But the disparity could not be more stark. The best Supercars driver can turn up to NASCAR and win immediately. The best NASCAR drivers turn up to the easiest Supercars round and finish second last. That is the reason 2 of them never showed up. You will hear all kinds of official excuses. Scheduling conflicts. Family commitments. A busy calendar. And sure, those are part of it. But Kyle Larson did not cancel his Adelaide debut because he was too busy. He canceled it 2 weeks after Cindric's Adelaide weekend. He talked to people who had driven both cars. He saw exactly how big the gap actually was. And he decided it was not worth the risk. For 20 years motorsport fans have argued about which series has the best drivers. For 20 years it has just been opinion and memes and takes on X. For the first time ever we actually had real, measurable, head-to-head data. And almost nobody in the official motorsport media wants to talk about it. There is no perfect right answer here. This does not mean Supercars drivers are universally better than NASCAR drivers. It means they have mastered completely different and largely incompatible skills. NASCAR drivers have mastered a set of skills that are unbelievably hard to master. They are just almost completely useless in a Gen 3 supercar. NASCAR drivers learn to drive a car that slides. Supercars drivers learn to drive a car that tries to kill you. At the end of the weekend Cindric said he had fun, he would like to come back, and he still wants to race Bathurst one day. Almost nobody inside the paddock believes he actually will. And you can absolutely understand why. The most telling comment of the entire weekend came from an anonymous full-time Supercars driver talking to Speed Cafe after the first practice. He said Austin is doing fine. Actually better than I expected. But if you put any one of us in his Cup car this weekend we would be top 10. Easy. Nobody has proven that statement wrong yet. This is the story that nobody really wanted. 3 NASCAR champions all said they wanted this challenge. 2 looked over the edge and walked away. 1 jumped and found out exactly how deep the water was. We will probably never see Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson in a supercar now. We will almost certainly never see any active NASCAR champion agree to turn up to Bathurst. Now they all know exactly what happens. If you enjoyed this fact-focused breakdown and you want more unfiltered NASCAR and motorsport news that doesn't just repeat official press releases, please hit the like button. It makes a huge difference in getting this content in front of other fans. And if you are new here, go ahead and subscribe. We put out a new deep dive like this every single week. Drop your opinion in the comments below. Do you think any NASCAR driver could ever run inside the top 10 at Bathurst?